As is the constant of this United States, the reality of lies after lies after lies are continual. And they all go back to the pyramid of university as a critical disgrace to us all. They are a criminal organization. Or more correctly, they are a cult. In other words, only the leader has a right to decide anything. They are the expert. They are God. They are the people who steal. They are the people who sell us out. They are the people who have made our lives ready to be exterminated. And one of the things that show that most clearly, or show the reality of what they do more clearly, is the constant ad that says a heart attack, heart disease is the #1 killer in America. Well, there is no such thing as dying of old age in this America. They remove that and say, he died of a heart attack instead. Well, the fact is that if nobody dies, nobody lives. I don't care how much you want to live. If nobody dies, nobody lives, because the world becomes overpopulated. You take too much, you don't give the children a place to stay, and you just simply assassinate the world. So we all have to die. It's a given. Nobody gets to escape that, and they hide that. And if you don't think that that's correct, just think about if nobody died before you came. We die of old age. And it doesn't matter what the reason is, beyond the average age, which is like 76 years old for white men, as is me, supposedly somewhere in there. That means that if you die at 76, you died of old age. If you die older than 76, you died of old age. It doesn't matter why, unless you were shot to death. It doesn't matter what or why you died. You died because of old age. But of course, to get your money, to make you fear, to collect everything that they can collect from you, and to make you servants to them, to make you obedient to them, to make you come back to their office and pay them once a month or whatever it is to take pills and things to keep you from dying, which you ain't never going to do. The whole thing is to get money. And like always, the pyramid of university delusions is that they have some reason to hold a college graduate for 30 years or something to get a doctorate degree. They do not. And, it's all about controlling the competition. By controlling the competition, they raise the price. And by raising the price, they demand that you have to pay us what we want. And so we can't. And so they say, let the government pay. And of course that sounds great. Doesn't that sound great? That sounds great. That's great. Isn't it great? Because the government, of course, is nothing other than a figment of your imagination. It is all of us instead. We have to work to make a living. We have to work to provide for ourselves. We have to work, and the resources have to be spent. And the end result of that is that they lie so that they can steal from the future, enslave the population by currency counterfeiting, which is just a tax that they didn't collect and spent it anyway. So in other words, that was a criminal organization that did that. They didn't do it because they could. There is nothing in constitutional law, not state or federal, that allows them to take from us more than what we can give, which is bankruptcy. They are a liar, traitor, thief, cheater, terrorist, treason, you name it, they're involved in it. And of course, one of the things that I can point to on that is that I didn't fill out one of their forms quite the way they wanted to, so they stole my truck. They didn't allow for the same thing that they allowed for others. They stole it, $8,500 worth at that time. And at another time, with the, demanding that you have to obey the law or I don't have to pay the tax. Obey the law and you get the tax. That's all there is to it. Just obey the law and you get the tax. There is no issue here. Obey the law. But they wouldn't do it. They closed the door in my face again and again and again. And one of the state of Illinois people who were sure that they could just steal from me said, we're going to take your truck, sell it for $500, which was a $10,000 truck. Sell it for $500 and leave you sitting with the rest. Saying, you owe us for the rest. We sold your truck for $500 even though it was worth $10,000. They sold it for $500 and now they get to charge the rest. And I told them, either you take the money and steal it, because I'm asking for a courtroom, and so, or I'm going to charge you with criminal theft, criminal extortion, criminal conspiracy, and everything else by using the courtroom and the policing to do your dirty work. And so they left me alone because they didn't want to face that. And the end result of it is that everything that is about our lives and about our nation and about our world and everything that is threatening to exterminate us from this planet begins and ends with the university diploma. The pyramid of those who control everything because they are the cult leader. They are the cult leader. And you just go looking for the money. Why does healthcare cost so much? Because they say so. But the end result of that is we all do have to pay for health care. But the cost is that in order to get out of get the diploma, which means memorize, mimic, and repeat what I say, as is the essence of indoctrination to the religious program of the cult. In order to get that, they spend 30 years of their lives obeying what they're told to obey. So they're ready to obey, and then the end result of this, they fear the end result is that they get $500,000 of debt, and they fear the consequences of being $500,000 in debt in a nation that is controlled by the university, which does not allow them to escape their debt in any form or fashion. It is the university elite that is the cult that leads us, and it is our enemy that does that. It is literally our enemy, because in the end they do control the inflation rate, so called by media lies. It's not 1.5% or something. Inflation is how much more currency was added to the government, to our nation, how much more dollars there are to be spent. And of course, with $650 trillion, whatever it was, that means $6.5 million divided by 100 million people, or for each and every one of 100 million people, if we divided it equally. So that money is there, and they spend it for themselves. They launder it into Wall Street so that you don't complain, but they otherwise spend it for themselves. They take whatever they want, and they control the price of gas, and they control the price of food, they control the farmers and what have you, so that they don't complain, so that you don't complain, so that you can keep on living as you're living more or less while they steal you blind. Because you are blind. Because you think I'm better off now than I was before. But the end result is they're stealing your future. They're killing your child. They're destroying your planet. And they're doing whatever they can do to make sure that you are exterminated from this earth. And so that they're preparing for your demise. They are literally preparing for your demise, for your civil war. And they want you to have a civil war, because when you have a civil war, you are controlled by the fact that you can't escape this. People are trying to kill you. So They get to escape and hide behind closed doors and clean you out while you're busy trying to survive. And of course, they're creating robotic armies now, so that don't have to have any people who obey. They just have to have a computer program, and one person can just type in a command, kill them all, or whatever it is. It doesn't matter. Kill them all, whatever it is. Robot doesn't care. Robot doesn't know. And you think, well, artificial intelligence, that would be great. But no, it's not. So what else are they doing? And the answer to that is they're gathering every poison known to man. They're gathering every single disease that is possible to gather. All the worst of the worst of the worst, as would be COVID an example of. They're gathering it all so that they can try to create and so that you can die, and they don't. That's the purpose of biological warfare within colleges and all the miscellaneous things that powerful people do. And their power, of course, is to make you fear. And the power, of course, is to take from you whatever they want. And the power is to make you cry. And the power is to make you obey. And make you believe that you have no options. Because they hold it all. So the end result of that is that we have to defend ourselves. We have to clean out the trash and the horror and the terrorists and the traitors and everybody else that is totally destroying life on earth. Totally destroying life on earth. And they can't be more true to that than to try to ignite sunfire on this planet. It's a self-sustaining plasma. It's a 1,000,000-mile long flame, and it creates its own gravity, and it's a radiation that will melt you from probably 1,000 miles away. Going to release that here, just like the sun. You know that the sun exists, therefore the sun could be here. And if you had a brain, you would know that their claims about how the sun works are completely false, completely idiotic and delusional, utter fantasy, and have no merit whatsoever. None. Absolutely none. Because, it's all magic to them. And of course, these are your former classmates. They're not gods, they're not anything else, but other than your former classmates. Were any of them God? Were you willing to give any of them the right to make decisions for you that cost you your life or your world or your nature or your future or your anything? Well, you are. You are literally giving your former classmates the right to mutilate nature, the right to make changes to this earth, to throw poison on top of poison on top of poison on top of your water supply, the right to do anything and everything they want to. The claim of population control is a little bit, I think they claim 0.7% or something. That is not true. They go back 100 years. 100 years. And average the population over that time. So that they don't have to contend with what is today. The amount of people who came in 1924 and survived is not the same as the amount of people who came and survived in 2024. And it isn't the same, you can't average that way. But they do, because that's how they lie. They create a maze so that you can't go down the maze without becoming tripped up in the maze. And so therefore they get to control everything. It's a liar's paradise. That's what America would be called if we wanted to be true. A liar's paradise. A thieves' heaven. Because that's who they are. And that's who they do, what they do. And Trump, of course, he wants to create a Hitler. That's what he says. He wants to turn we the people into me, fear me. That's what he says. And of course, he has been attacked. And of course, the truth is, men play games. And women now play games too. They play different games, but they play the games and they join men in their games. And life is not a game. When you make the world and living a game, you take away the dignity and the respect that it is owed. You take away the miracle that life is. And we need to do so much better.